Matthew Rowe.
David?
No, I'm Zoe, the powerful and great, and I have summoned you to become my eternal slave for fun things, if you catch my drift.
What's my incentive?
I'm a wizard, first off, and I can totally, straight Voldemort you. Don't tempt me, mortal.
I'm pretty sure you're just throwing your voice, David.
No, I'm Zoe. I'm definitely Zoe, the powerful and great, and not David.
David, you're standing in the corner.
What? No, that's not me. That's my avatar. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
It's not even a curtain, David.
Well, I didn't have a curtain, Matthew.
You could have asked.
Well, Do you have a curtain?
Yeah, I do.
May I use it?
No. Get the fuck on the couch.
Okay. Okay, well, we watched a movie today.
Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return.
Dorothy's Return. Question.
Watch the other Oz movies.
What continuity does this fit into?
I have no idea.
What? Is it the James Franco? Is it Return to Oz? Is it the original 1930 Technicolor one? No? None of them? How the fuck is she returning?
Is it the books?
Maybe. I don't know. No? Okay then.
It's based off of one of the books called Dorothy and Oz.
Oh, all right.
Guess what? No.
Alright, cool. Glad we had that.
That's all you need to know.
Alright. Should I give a plot to this?
This is a very simple plot. You can do it well under a minute.
It is, but at the same time, if I really want to hit on everything... Anyway.
Little Mermaid 2 with new sidekicks.
Barely. Okay, so... It has been many years in Oz, but only one day for Dorothy.
Not even a day. She wakes up.
And then it's back.
I'm like, wow, you gave her literally an hour tops to readjust to life, and boom, she's back.
There's a new threat in Oz called the Jester, who is the brother of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Take that, Wicked fans.
He gets his powers once she dies from...
He's played by Morton Short, by the way.
Yeah, we'll get into the cast later. There's a whole bunch.
Big surprise.
So they call back Dorothy. He's like, look, you slayed 2 witches before. You can do it again with this guy. Whatever. Good luck.
Forgetting the fact that both of them were accidents.
Yeah.
It's all by happenstance. She wasn't really a hero. She's like, whoops.
So,
well, shit.
So then she's called back into Oz. And she is trying to make her way to Emerald City. And she comes across a new group of friends, such as Wiser the Owl who never knows how to shut the fuck up.
And he's huge.
He's fucking fat. Marshall Mello, the marshmallow soldier, who works in the Candy County. The Dainty China Princess, who is a princess made of china, like plates. And Tug the tree boat tank.
And
I love Tug. We'll get into him. Of course,
voiced by Patrick Stewart.
Toto's around and all that. So they meet up, all of them, on their way to Emerald City. When they finally get there, they discover that Jester has imprisoned not only Glenda the Good Witch long before, but also Scarecrow, Lion, and Tin Man are all imprisoned as well. Lets him go. Not Jester. Dorothy does. They have this big-ass fight. Jester loses his powers. And then back to the real world. Oh, and the real world has a very mild plot of after the tornadoes from the day before, so this guy's going around and he's saying, these houses aren't safe. They're all condemned. Come sign your papers and move out by the end of the day. And then Dorothy's like, no, we can still live here. So she tries to fix it up and then fails. Then she goes to Oz.
She doesn't even try. She just
Yeah.
she just says, "I'm gonna do something," and then she gets whisked away.
Yeah. And then she goes to Oz. She does her shit. She comes back and she's like, "Yo, we can still live here." And the guy's like, "Excuse me, I work for the government, so no." And then through just happenstance and miracles, turns out he doesn't work for the government. He's just a con artist. And everyone gets their houses back and they repair them and Kansas is saved. Hooray.
Till the next tornado, about 2 weeks
Yeah,
later.
I was going to say, until this is the middle of tornado season, so you're fucked. That's basically it. Let's talk about the characters, and as we go through characters, I will say who voiced them, because almost every single person...
This is a very interesting, well-known cast.
Yep.
Lots of really famous people in this.
For some reason, when I load this up, Dorothy's name is blanked out. I can't... Alright, Dorothy exists. It's not loading.
It's just like,
There it is.
you're never going to know.
Nope. Alright, so Dorothy was voiced by Lea Michele. Someone.
I probably would know her if I saw her.
What do you think about her as a character, Dorothy?
Uh,
I don't know.
she's
She's...
stock.
How does she compare? Let's assume, for all intents and purposes,
Well,
that
the problem is this,
Yeah.
and this is my personal view.
Sits
Is
in the same continuity as the first one.
well, if it's because it's going off the basis that the previous story happened.
And then ignores several very integral plot points.
Exactly, but it's going off still of the story happened. Dorothy acts the same way she did when she was first there. You would think after the entire fiasco she goes through, up until when she actually has to defeat the Wicked Witch and goes through all that big ceremony, all that jazz, and learning about it, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, though, in this movie she behaves the same way. She has not learned of a damn thing. I'm like, I'm sorry, honey, like, you've been to Oz before. And the fact, like, to be honest, actually, the most competent character of this entire movie is Toto.
Yeah.
Toto and Tug.
Toto isn't, like, fazed by shit.
Nah, like, he actually is one of the reasons why they get away in one of the scenes.
Yeah.
He's a proactive character. Dorothy just stands around looking like she's in the headlights.
We'll get into it more, but this movie is also a musical.
Yes.
They cut the song.
I was not aware of that before we started it.
So, yeah. Dorothy,
I regretted my decision.
when it comes down to the original Dorothy, I mean, thinking back to Judy Garland's Dorothy, wasn't a lot there
No,
anyway.
she was a very good singer, and I don't disregard. Like, I'm not all right. Coming from me, I'm not a huge fan of musicals in general. There are some musicals that I think are really good. I mean, guys, I grew up in the 90s. That's the era of Disney. That was nothing but musicals for the most part.
Mhm.
But the fact of the matter is, though, this one, it feels like it was trying to emulate the latter Disney into Frozen era territory. Tangled would be it's trying to emulate that. And I'm not saying that it fails miserably because I can't write songs. But the fact of the matter is, though, it doesn't fit.
No.
The music is all over the place. Like, if any competent composer, and I'm not even a huge fan of, like, what's one of the big ones? I can't remember. The guy who did Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Right.
And whatnot. He's one of the most well-known composers, but yet at the same time, he relies on, like, the same section of notes for, like, every song through every musical.
While, yes, I agree with that, at the same time, it's
But it works.
It's partially because when they do that big song where it's parts of every song mixed together,
Yeah.
you need to have that happen, or else
Yeah,
the
but
song
he
won't
writes
come
all of his musicals around that. See, but the thing is, though, even though I'm not a huge fan of that, I still like Phantom of the Opera, mind you. Even though I'm not a fan of that, the fact of the matter is, though, the musicals that always have success have an overlying theme to them. They have an overlying tone. They all mesh. This one is like a smorgasbord.
I feel like its tone is like anything that Dorothy sings is. We made.
I will find my way.
It's the song from Hercules when he's going to Zeus for the first time.
I will go the distance.
I think that's the name.
Yeah.
It's that, and then every other song is just Here's the situation that's happening now. Do 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 do. We done? Okay.
The Jester tried to do
a candy song.
Well, no, he also he did the candy song, yeah, but also it was his like villain song that he was doing. I'm like, are you? It felt like me that he was trying to replicate the Shadow Man from Princess and the Frog.
The one that it reminded me of was fucking Rasputin from Anastasia.
I can believe Rasputin. Yeah.
Except that song was amazing, and this song.
Well, yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I was about to say it was voiced by Christopher Lloyd, but it's not. It was somebody else singing that.
No, wait, that's Scott. Fuck me, I don't know.
Anyway, I don't remember. No, Nostalgia Critic did a thing on him.
Characters back to.
Yeah.
We got off onto songs for a while there.
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow voiced by Dan Aykroyd.
I've seen Dan Aykroyd in a lot of shitty movies.
Yeah, ever since the 80s, not been kind to him.
And also, he's also a major conspiracy theory nut.
But we won't get that much
But
into
at the same time, that's your own thing, Dan. Like, I consider you a decent actor.
Talking about the character, Scarecrow, of course, at the end of
wasn't bad.
Wizard of Oz got a brain. So now he's straight fucking Rain Man, where he's able to just do super complex calculus in his head at a glance.
In the very end of the first story, he wasn't given an actual brain. He was given a diploma.
Which is like the tongue-in-cheek way of saying, people think you're smart now. You're not actually smart now. Especially because if you really listen at the end of The Wizard of Oz, when he holds up the diploma and he has up the fingers like the square of the sum of the hypotenuse, blah, blah, blah. Whatever he's saying, it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's literally not true.
Yeah.
Mathematically. Just putting that out there. All right, after that...
I don't know if they decided to do that on purpose or not.
I don't think they did. Anyway, Lion, next is Jim Belushi. Now, talking about the Lion, he, of course, got courage. What was his item, even? I don't even remember what he got. Wasn't it just like a little heart pin, like a medal? Didn't he just get a medal?
Yeah, he got a medal.
He got a medal.
He got a crown in this one.
Yeah, he's like half king in this.
All right.
Which seems wasn't that Return to Oz though?
No, wait. Before we begin, I have not read the book series of Oz, so I do not know how the actual storyline goes.
I have the first one. Literally picked it up this week, but I didn't know we were doing this movie. So
I've read the first book, and I've seen the first movie, and also I've seen like Return to Oz, and I've also seen Sam Raimi's Oz the Great and Powerful, which is completely out of canon. But the fact of the matter, well, it is. But then also, I haven't seen Wicked. I've read Wicked, and I've listened to all the songs in Wicked. That's pretty much my expression with Wicked.
Which probably is all you need.
Yeah, and to be honest, actually, I wasn't impressed. But at the same time, though, whatever floats your boat. Moving back.
Back to Lion. His whole thing. Whenever
they should have just let him devour some of these people.
The three of them, the three core from the previous film, they're never separated at any given point.
They're like the Three Stooges.
But they act in the exact same way. It's always the same thing. And I know I'm going to spoil a bit Tim here, but whatever. Scarecrow says like, I've been thinking up an idea. And Lion goes, the idea better be me letting me eat somebody. And then Tin Man goes, I'm feeling an emotion because I have a heart.
Yeah, he's very literal in his emotions.
And that's it every time they talk.
Guys, do you remember, and I said this during when we were actually watching it, do you remember the Kevin Sorbo Hercules? And there's this one line that he constantly tries to play off. He goes, disappointed! That's what Tin Man does.
Yeah, every single time. He just
every time. Fear, timidness, exhaustion, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the fuck it was.
So going on to that, Kelsey Grammer is the Tin Man.
And he actually doesn't do a bad job.
But he fits the role perfectly, but the role isn't substance.
No, it's just literal.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like, I've been a fan of Kelsey Grammer. I think he's a very good actor.
He's done great stuff.
Yeah.
But not. I mean, he even acted this well. Everyone in this really acted well.
I will not say that the voice acting was poor.
No, but the substance to everyone.
It was a script. Man. It was a script. Like the animation was not bad. It wasn't.
I'm gonna skip over the next guy because that's that.
Yeah.
Hugh Dancy is the jester / the appraiser that's in Oz. You know, like that whole. And you were there, and you were there. And you were there. Hugh Dancy. Oh wait, sorry.
So now you're talking about
I
Martin
know I
Short.
jumped. Sorry.
We'll get back to Martin Short.
Hugh Dancy is the Marshall Mallow guy. He's the Marshmallow Soldier. He's fancy.
Like
You don't even know.
I mean, to be fair, his voice acting was great because I could not tell that
Yeah.
that was Hugh Dancy.
If you don't know who Hugh Dancy is, he starred as
Will Graham in Hannibal.
Hannibal. I forget his name always.
Yeah, a fantastic performance. I think he was completely snubbed. Him and Mads Mikkelsen. I thought they were completely snubbed for their roles.
Hey, look at that.
But
Okay.
did a really good job. Did a competent job.
He even, I don't know. Like I said,
He was the most emotional character, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea if the people who have these roles are also singing their musical parts.
Some do, some don't.
But if he did sing his role, he had a good A+ there.
But at the same time, though, it's not very uncommon that other people would sing the roles. I mean,
Not
Disney does it all the time, so who knows?
Megan Hilty as the dainty China princess. Megan Hilty, I just looked up, was Glinda in the original Broadway performance of Wicked. So she's a thing. Moving on.
Well,
No, we need to talk about dainty China princess.
she annoyed the shit out of me.
Her character arc was, I am the Queen Supreme. Moving on to, I'm in love with the Marshall Mallow. Moving on to, I've been broken and repaired. Now I'm not Queen Supreme.
The porcelain girl in Oz the Great and Powerful was a much better character than this one.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
character was one of the best ones in Oz Great and Powerful. Especially her reveal scene when we first get to meet her. It's great. I loved it. But the thing is, with this one, she never becomes humble.
No.
She has this cocky-ass attitude.
She becomes open, but never humble.
No, she's still the same person she is. She sits in the shade and lets other people do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, she's a porcelain doll, and I'm not gonna badmouth a porcelain doll for trying. Well, let me rephrase: a China doll trying
I
to
think
be
that's
careful.
racist. In their culture, I think calling them porcelain is racist.
Uh,
How dare you? Next up is Wiser the Owl, the big fat owl who can't shut up. Played by Oliver Platt. I looked him up. He had a whole bunch of roles, and he's actually gotten Emmys, but he doesn't have any majorly big famous ones. So, I'm gonna see him. That's him.
Oh, I know Oliver Platt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
he's kind of like a miscellaneous actor. You probably would have seen him in a dozen.
I think he was West Wing.
That was one of them. Yeah,
West Wing, yeah. So there's that.
he's been in a
Got
lot.
an Emmy for it.
He's been in a lot, and he's a very decent actor.
I kind of want to skip over to the next one, but I don't, so let's do it.
Nope. Patrick Stewart
Patrick Stewart
as Tug.
of X-Men and Star Trek fame is Tug, okay, back in the first Wizard of Oz, there was the Forest of the Talking Trees.
Yes. We came back to him.
Yeah, they came back, and they even referenced the earlier one with, hey, isn't that the girl that took an apple off of Uncle Martin's
Eddie
tree
or
whatever? Yeah, whatever.
Marvin or something.
So then they're like, but we need to build a boat to cross this river. And then you hear a lone tree speak up from behind. You're like, well, use me. It's like, who is that, Patrick?
He's just
Stewart?
sitting there like cross-legged, like, I am 800 something.
I'm 978 years old. I could either sit here and rot, taking up someone else's son, or I could be of some use and be a boat to you. And it's like, Patrick Stewart, I love you. So he's just this super cool dude who sacrificed himself to be a boat, but even then he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. He becomes a boat.
And then they do the storming the castle scene, and
And
I
he
don't even
becomes-
know how.
He becomes a tank.
He becomes a tank, and then, oh yeah, they named him Tug because he was a boat. And then when he's coming
And
into
he's
the
like,
castle,
now
he's
it's
like,
tank.
Tug! Wow, look at you. He's like, not Tug, Tank. And I'm like, hey,
Yes.
Tank. And I said this earlier, Tug, say I am Groot. Do it.
This is a bit before that time, I think. But also,
Yeah.
also he wasn't just a tank. He was also a Trojan horse
Yeah,
because he housed tons of soldiers.
He stored the China army.
and
Yeah.
also the
Candy.
Candy County Army too.
Fucking amazing.
It's like, oh my god. It was good. It was good. And also the animation was fluid. And nothing. There was very, very good texturing.
What are we talking about? Tug specifically or the film?
Tug. I mean, like, to me, in general, the film, too.
Well, no, stick with the characters for now.
But
We still got
Tug himself, he actually was probably the most designed face out of everything. And
yeah, everybody else sort of had the South Park Canadian look to them, where it's just like headline. Scarecrow did, Tin Man did, Lion not so much, Dorothy not so much, Marshmallow. That was like his defining feature. Yeah, no.
No, it's good. It's good, though. But Tug was a fun character, so...
Next and last is, first off, Tom Kenny was in his one role, as he always is. A few other people. Brian Blessed was a judge, if you know who that is.
He was in like 20 seconds. Tom Kenny was 20 seconds of the movie.
In, out, done. One song.
I bet he got a really big paycheck for that, too.
But the one we really need to talk about is Martin Short as the Jester Appraiser. I already talked about his role because I suck cocks. And I fucked it up. So yeah, he was essentially...
I have seen Martin Short play this character in so many movies.
I feel like Martin Short just does this every night before he goes to bed. He just like gets in front of the mirror and he's like, Martin, I have invaded your home.
He's like, I need to get the cheese ready for tomorrow's performance. He's like, the ham smells good today.
It's all the time.
I mean, I will say, as much as Martin Short has done horrible movies in the past, I still enjoy him.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, though, there's plenty of times where he can take it way too far. But this is not one of those times. And...
Stole my namesake, whatever, I don't care. Anyway.
I think he came
Shut the fuck up.
a bit before you.
Shut the fuck up. Let me have this. No, what the fuck was I gonna say? It was about Jester. Oh, in his not Jester, but the Appraiser. In the beginning with him, we weren't sure if it was Martin Short, but then we listened to like 3 seconds of him. He was like, "Is that Martin?" Yep, no, that's Martin Short. Yep.
You can recognize this guy's voice anywhere.
And I was really expecting...
And y'all people should know who Martin Short is.
I mean...
I guarantee you,
really
there is at least one movie in your life that he has starred in that you have seen. Because he is in fucking everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm looking for just like a list, but I'm pretty sure it's just a bit too big.
He's been everywhere. He's not a bad actor. Like, alright, was it the Santa Claus 3?
Yeah.
He was the main... He was Jack Frost in that movie.
He was in Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
Yep.
I mean, that's
moving on.
Yeah. What we need to talk about with Jester, though, is his final scene where he stopped being Jester
and started being the Joker.
He straight up white face paint, black marks,
running,
and red lipstick, and a smile stretching up his cheeks. And then
everything started to run during the battle.
During the fight, as he's starting to get hit by it, just starts like really like cracking and getting into his skin and stuff like that. And it's like, this is Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm looking at Heath Ledger's Joker. Why am I looking at Heath Ledger's Joker in Oz? Not that I was saying it's a bad thing. It was like weird to see.
It happened.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it wasn't, trying to blow up a hospital or anything kind of took away from it, but whatever.
Well,
speaking of which, I guess we should talk just about...
He was sending earthquakes to an entire kingdom.
He sent earthquakes to a China kingdom. That's
diabolical.
Yeah.
And also, all of his enemies he turned into marionette puppets.
Yeah, and he, like Glinda, when he captured her, he said the words, essentially, I take your soul from your body, and now you're my puppet.
Yeah.
And then she was a literal puppet with like the flapping mouth and everything. It's like, oh, this is weird.
If they actually
is weird.
If they played that scene up, like if they actually decided to make the this lean toward more of the scary aspect of it,
I can tell you exactly what scene they needed. They needed one scene when he was like trying to capture Dorothy, but things just weren't working out. If he just went into the hall where he had all of them stored, and he talked to them and just stared at them like they were still like listening. And he's just like ranting and raving to them. Like telling us like, what should I do? And just the dead eyes. It's like, yeah, no, this is terrifying. I'm losing my shit.
it goes always back to the writing.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess we
for
need to
me,
get into that.
And it seems, and this is pretty much the final point in the whole thing, because the animation I think
yeah,
was pretty
If
solid.
we're gonna end on writing, we need to.
And when it comes down based to the writing, the direction wasn't poor. Like, the fact of the matter is, though, every actor knew the motivation of what they were going for in the scene. It keeps just going back to the poor script.
Before we get into that much, I want
to see if I know the writers from anything.
Don't open
so
my
keep
phone.
going.
When it comes to the one thing we mentioned earlier, if you want to talk about the writers, is they set it in the continuity of the first film, and then proceeded to ignore
the continuity of
the
said
continuity
film
of the first film. So what it really came down to was the fact that the flying monkeys were now just against Dorothy again.
Out of blue.
Like, they, at the whole end, we swear your allegiance to you. Okay, cool. What happened to that? What was it? The witch is still dead. Glinda's still there. She killed 2 witches. Everything happened there. Oh, let me ask you a little question. Just one little question. When did the first movie take place? Name a time period. Any time period you think is right.
Even off the books.
Name it. No, in the course of the movie, let's say, or even the books. It doesn't matter. When. If you said anything later than 1940-something, you're wrong. It took place earlier than that, obviously, because the movies were made and it wasn't set in the near future. This movie, the appraiser was welcomed into the scene with a megaphone. And everything else, like,
everything
was
was like at least 90s.
Minimum.
Onward.
I mean, okay, you can't put it back in the 50s for whatever reason. Fine. Why? Just explain that. I don't care why. Just explain why Dorothy going to sleep, waking up, it still being the next day, does not put us 40 years into the future. I'm not grasping something you're laying down here, filmmakers.
Okay, so I did just a little bit of research and I figured out that the directors of this movie have worked on a shit ton of Disney.
Damn.
They have been involved in almost every major Disney film from the late 80s until now.
Did he direct those?
No, they were involved in the art department.
That's the whole Disney Renaissance.
Actually, no, let me rephrase. This probably would make sense of why this movie is so well animated. Is because these 2 directors worked on the animation department on The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, and it just keeps on going on. Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Jeez.
And, like, it's amazing, actually, that they have done so much work. It's The Prince and the Pauper. But the thing is, that's why the direction is good. That's why I felt like the movie felt like it flowed.
Yeah. It wasn't just like, okay, so now this is happening.
But the writing, I have checked the writers. One writer has barely done anything.
Oh God, I see that.
And the other writer, her name is Randy Barnes. Her major contribution to writing is Girl Meets World.
I mean, Boy Meets World sequel series made in the 20s. Yeah, I got nothing on it. What?
Yeah, her biggest credit so far is Girl Meets World. And I'm not saying that I haven't seen the show. I can't say.
Imagination Movers.
Yeah, it's like, I haven't seen either one of those shows, so I can't comment one way or another on it. But the fact of the matter is, though, it seems like it's really out of place.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that anyone's previous written work can dictate how ever their career goes.
Someone's got to start somewhere.
Think about that. Like, would you ever think when Aaron Sorkin came out with a Few Good Men that he would write The Social Network? There's a huge disconnect between the 2 projects. But either way, the fact of the matter is, though,
there's just no substance.
One, the writing was very choppy. It was very jumpy. It just wanted to find whatever reason it used just the end of songs to push the plot forward.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden the song will end, and all of a sudden the plot will just show up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes the songs provide bonus exposition, if done well, or further the plot along.
Yeah, the best songs, like, alright, my favorite musical is Fiddler on the Roof. And, yeah, I know, David has a history. But with these, bleh, wherever, however you feel about the musical itself, the songs involved in the musical propel the plot along.
Right.
Or also propel the person's emotional struggle in that moment along.
Right.
One way or another, the story is progressing.
The only time I could think that happened in this movie was they were doing their their broken song pretty much, and like they gotta get back to where it was when they were rebuilding the little China princess after she was all broken up. That furthered the plot.
Yeah,
From
and
the
also
beginning of
when
the
they
song
were
to the end of the song,
when they were
things
making the
changed.
boat.
Yes.
When they were making Tug
That
originally,
too.
that was the song. So it had a couple songs in here that projected the plot. And
But most of them were just, look at the colors! You're in Oz!
be amazed! Wow! Jazz hands.
That's basically all it was towards the end.
Especially with the fight scene, it's all about like, wow, how much Technicolor can we pump into this image here?
And that's the other thing I felt with this movie. I mean, are we basically done here?
Yeah.
Okay. For final thoughts, when it comes down to this movie, when it comes down to the original, at least, and also Sam Raimi's one,
Yeah.
there was a disconnect between this amazing world of Oz and the real world. There was the color scheme being the most obvious part, but there were other minor, less noticeable things as well.
And I really liked how they did it with Oz the Great and Powerful because they had it in like 4x3, like old.
Expanded.
Yeah, it was great. Sorry, keep going.
This one had no disconnect. Nothing at all. The real world looked just as colorful, just as bright, just as lively, if not slightly more boring, than Oz. That's it. There was no difference between the two. As soon as they used a fucking rainbow to reach down, grab this girl,
Yeah,
pull her to
that was
Oz,
new.
and said, hey, you're in Oz now. And I feel like they had to say that because otherwise we'd be like, are we? This looks stunningly similar to the real world.
Yep, it's real world.
So I think my biggest problem with this film was, yes, of course, the writing, in that it didn't have substance, but I feel like Oz is just a reflection of that. Oz itself didn't have substance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, the Wicked Witch of the West being taken down. Thinking of it from a continuity standpoint, that should cause a massive power struggle
Yeah.
among warring
And if I'm not mistaken, in
everything else,
the books it does.
it should cause that. Here,
I don't know if it's certain though.
Here, first off, they run on Narnia time. So it's been years for Oz, only the one night for Dorothy.
Yeah, that's why the Scarecrow is like super smart.
Yeah. Of course.
Because time has progressed.
It's not just a cop-out. He's just super smart.
He's just John Nash all of a sudden.
Rest in peace, you dear soul. When it comes to that, it's just boring. Oz is just boring. There's nothing interesting happening. The whole Jester thing, while yes, he was mildly a threat, I guess you would say.
He was incompetent.
Everyone was incompetent. The fact that Glinda got caught by these people. What?
Yeah.
What? She is essentially God. She can just do whatever. And she's like, nope, I'm caught by the Jester. Oh well, Dorothy will stop you. Whee!
She has the ability to rip apart universes.
Pretty much.
and bring people back and forth without any consequence.
But nope. Here
She gets caught by
she gets caught by a Joker knockoff.
And also, this is another thing too.
Well, you can go your final. I'm done.
I was just going off of the Joker bit. The reason for the face paint, earlier in the movie, there should have been no reason for him to revel in that.
Yeah.
Because him being stuck in the Jester outfit is what his sister had done to him as a joke. He was cursed. He could never take it off.
And that was even a funny visual gag.
Yeah, because he just kept doing
it
off. And it was good. And like, so the thing is though, he at the very end is like, all right, now you're going like full freak show here.
Embrace the freakness inside of you.
Now, I don't have a problem with him, like, going mad with power, that whole thing. But he doesn't have any more power than he did in the very beginning of the movie.
Nah.
and he has no more upper hand and whatnot. He never once does anything more than try to continually send the monkeys after them.
Yeah.
Except for that one time where he tossed them over a waterfall.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which, and even then, he was like, "That's right, I did it." And then once that failed, he's like, "All right, back to the monkeys."
yeah, so I'm like, dude, even the Wicked Witch of the West didn't rely on the monkeys that much.
Yeah.
They were in, like,
They made
one scene, really.
What was it? The field of poppies.
Yeah.
The trees.
She actually used, like,
monkeys.
yeah, she tried to do, she tried to switch things up every now and again to try to get Dorothy in some way. Also, it was mainly also to just get her to turn back.
Yeah.
Or, you know, just give up the slippers. That
That
type
was
of deal.
Jester was straight up trying to kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, Dorothy."
I mean, but overall, as I said before, like, the acting was solid. The animation was solid. I wouldn't say I see that the sound editing was basically standard.
Yeah.
The animation was very, very well put together. And overall, I mean, the movie is, unfortunately, considering the quality of what was put into the acting and all that jazz, it's a shame that the movie is as forgettable as it is. Because it really could have been something interesting. I wouldn't say that this movie was ever designed to be long lasting, but either way, you know, it was a very
I don't know how they got the star power.
Yeah, that's probably what they spent their entire budget on. It's like, just act in this movie.
Patrick Stewart, be a tree.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's be a tree. Oh, you've seen him in the Scotch commercials and whatnot.
Those are great.
So can I put this down now? No, stay behind the award. Okay. I'm like, what are you doing, Patrick? So yeah, I think that is it with Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return.
Real quick, before we cut off, go to the closing joke. I want to do this on camera, so there are witnesses. Look, not trying to start anything, but been watching through some older episodes. Link here. You have been pretty nasty to me at times. I would venture to say downright wicked.
David, it's the character, right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
I mean, you help write it.
Yeah, I know. It just it hurts sometimes, you know? It hurts, the things you say. And look, I'm rambling. The point I'm trying to make here is I'm willing to forgive all of your nastiness and wickedness towards me in all the previous episodes if you can just let me try one stupid, barely even significant, little itty bitty tiny thing. Just real quick.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, all you have to do is just sit there. You don't even really have to do
How was that?
Ah!
How was that? Water.
That was water, yeah.
It's just a couple drops.
Yeah, I got a bit thirsty during the review, and I might have drank more than I meant to.
Were you trying to melt me?
What? I mean, I plead the fifth.